Hey guys, so there's a little bit of a story to this one. A few months ago, I was chatting with some JP players about the upcoming tower floors, and they told me that for floor 59, you had to either stall or use Team Gojo because it was impossible to burst down with Zone Yuji. I didn't really question it because I never looked into the floors before they came out, but I was kind of sad about that because that meant that I would have to make a boring stall team for people without Team Gojo. Turns out, it's not impossible at all with some good strategy. Best part is, the team is very free to play friendly, and there's no RNG at all outside of hitting a stun on turn 1. This is the team we're running. As you can see, very free to play units, besides Zone Yuji of course. Unity, Taunt Recollection on Toge, and then preparation activities on Mahito are all required. Zone Yuji can run any good physical tech recollection, but Play of the Strong is by far his best one. The Domain Gojo banner rec is not required, but it makes the rotation very consistent. So without it, there's a bit of ult gauge managing you have to do based on who gets hit by the boss on turn 2. But even if you don't have it, it's fine, just put any supportive recollection on him and you'll be okay. I'm going to wait until I pass the turn 1 stun check, and then I'll explain the entire strategy to you guys. These are my skills. On turn 1, we activate our recollections, and we go for that stun. The stun takes a while to hit, so don't get too frustrated. It'll probably take like at least 5 attempts. Okay, so now I can explain how this floor works. The units in the front always get this damage dealt decreased by 80% debuff put on them, these two. So then you're like, oh, you can just put the supports in the front. The problem is, there's also this debuff. When you apply a buff to an ally, or you heal an ally, you transmit your own debuffs up to 2 to that ally, or to all your allies. And you can't use debuffers either, because this boss is debuff immune. So how do you do damage? Well, when you transfer these debuffs, it only transfers it for that turn, right? So the reason Team Gojo is so broken for this floor is because when he has his infinity up, when they try to transfer their debuffs on him, it doesn't work. So he's attacking with full damage because his infinity guards against all these debuffs and he's still receiving all of their buffs. But Zone Yuji can't do that. So then what is the strat, right? The strat is honestly pretty simple. It's just get the buffs and then don't buff on the turns where you need to do damage. It sounds kind of dumb, but that's basically what it is. And Yuji is strong enough to make that work. So again, from this point on, there is no RNG. Mahito's going to tank the next 3 turns for us with a skill 2 and the Taunt Recollection. So if you don't have Domain Gojo's banner rec, then you needed either Nanami or Yuji to get hit on turn 2. Our Yaga got hit, but it didn't matter because we have this recollection, because you need their ults up on a very specific turn. On this turn, to be exact. This is the point you want to get to. We're on turn 5. You have both of these guys as ults up. So now, my Yuji has all of these buffs from Yaga and Nanami. I'm going to give him one more Yaga buff to make his zone state stronger. And then on Nanami, I'm going to ult and combo ult it with Yuji's ult. The reason we do this is because when Nanami ults, he has this buff that he gives you, right? This 23.32% damage dealt increase. That applies and then the co-op ult goes off instantly. So Yuji doesn't get that debuff until he finishes ulting. Or no one else gets that debuff either until the co-op ult is finished. So that's what we're going to do on this turn. Again, there's no RNG thanks to Mahito's taunt. That does decent damage. And now we have Mahito's ult up for next turn. So Yuji's zone state, the 2 turns after he ults, is when he does the most damage, right? So on these turns, we don't want to use any buffs, because if we use buffs, we're going to transfer the 80% damage dealt decrease to Yuji. So we're just going to ult here, skill 3 on Nanami here, combo ult with Maito for some extra damage, pop this Recollection, and we're going to skill 3 twice. The more black flashes you get, the easier it is to clear, right? But even if you don't get any black flashes, as long as your Yuji is what mine is, which is A1, level 140, grade 15, fully maxed out nodes, you'll be able to clear even without any black flashes. If your Yuji's A0, you might need some black flashes here. I'm not sure. I obviously can't test it because I don't have an A0 Yuji, right? So we're going to do this. This is guaranteed to break the boss, so again, there is no RNG. We're using double skill 3s to maximize break damage, and maximize damage in general. Okay, we only got one black flash, so we didn't get that lucky, but it's fine. If you get really lucky, you can honestly clear it on this turn. But we didn't get that lucky, so it's not going to happen. Again, we're not going to buff because we don't want to put that debuff onto Yuji. We're going to pop Unity, skill 1, skill 1, skill 2, and then double skill 3 again. So only 2 black flashes over 4 skill 3s. So not that lucky, but it's still okay. Now, the boss has around 1.6 million HP. Now there's no... We're still going to be doing damage soon, but not on this turn, right? We're not going to be doing damage anymore. So we're just going to use buffs now. And then we're going to charge up our Yuji's ult by giving him the ult gauge buff here. Gonna buff again, and then we're just gonna hit. Again, no RNG there, as long as our Nanami survives. Now, same thing. We can combo ult. We don't buff on Yaga, or we can't even. But even if we could, we don't buff because we don't want to put that debuff on Yuji. And when you combo ult, that debuff doesn't get transferred to Yuji before he gets his ult off. And that's enough to clear. So again, if your Yuji is same investment level as mine, then you'll clear like this even without good Black Flash RNG. If your Yuji is A0, you might need some good Black Flash RNG to get the clear. Yeah, pretty simple strat, but yeah, it did require some reading and testing, I guess. But it's nice that Zone Yuji can burst it. It just shows you that even without max buffs, he does very solid damage. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Bye guys.